Welcome to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at Bitcoin. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Okay, so we've had this strong move to the upside. Now, we were talking about this possibility yesterday, and we've actually come back and retested the underside of this channel that we were holding as support. Now, it is possible that price action could still fall away from this and continue in the bearish count, but at the moment, I'm treating this as an A wave to the upside just because of the structure, because within here, it looks like this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So with that in mind, what I'm looking for is effectively something along these lines where we have a bigger A, B, and a C pattern. Now, as long as we actually hold this 25,351, we can look for continuation to the upside here. Now, what I would be looking for would be this is an A wave, looking for this as a B wave that's still in place. So this B wave here. Now, the B wave support zone we'd be looking for here would actually be this 26,593 to this 25,774. Now, if we do see a push to the downside, I would be primarily expecting this move to come up one more time here, to be honest. It would make a lot of sense to see this play out as A, B, and then we see a move to the upside for this C wave and to complete this yellow B wave, and then a push to the downside. Now, I'll be keeping an eye on a few areas. This center channel line is sitting here towards this 26,500, which would tie in with that idea of a one-to-one if we do move up. Now, if we break down directly, this one-to-one would actually be lower down and would be here towards this 50% area here, which would be this 26,351. So if we see price just actually fall off directly, where this becomes A, B, and then we see the C wave play out immediately, that would then just mean that we're actually looking to break down to one of these targets here. Now, it would be keeping an eye on this 1618 here as well for a deeper retracement. If we see price break down in this way, where this becomes 1, 2, 3, we see a push down here, we get a fourth and a fifth. We need to be careful, because if we do have this as a high and it's not an impulse like I'm counting it, that bearish count can still play out. So we need to be aware of that. I will go over that in a second, but primarily what I'm looking for is this as an A, looking for a B, and then we're looking for this C wave to the upside. Now, this C wave could potentially look to push us up towards this zone of this 28,225 if we had a retracement to this 0.618. If we actually completed higher up here, the one-to-one would be this 28,457, and if we completed with a shallow correction onto the center channel line, that would be 28,642. Now, depending on where this actually comes in here, what we could actually see is that price could then move up to either this one-to-one where we have this as ABC, or we need to be aware that if price moves past the 1.618 area, we could see something along the lines where we get an additional fourth wave to the downside and a fifth wave to the upside, looking for this target of this 3242 to this 29741. Now, this would be based off of coming down deeper here. Obviously, depending on where exactly this correction completes into, we need to just be aware that it is possible that it could even come down deeper towards this 786, which is sitting here towards this 25,774, which also has a daily naked point of control just below it at this 25,725. So I would be keeping an eye on this as well. If this does become a deeper correction here, where we see a bit more of a sideways choppy move, where we possibly get something like this, where we get this as A, B, and C, we get a sideways move here, and then we look for something like this, where price actually slowly brings itself back down into these levels. If we do see this, what I'd then be looking for is still looking for that possibility of the C wave, as long as we hold this 25,351. Now, looking at a few zones here, we could argue that this B wave could actually look to come back and retest this value area low that we have here towards this 26,462, which would tie in with that idea of that C wave, particularly if we actually move up to that 0.618 again. That would align very nicely with this value area low. So I would be keeping an eye on this potential. Obviously, we also do have some structure to the left-hand side here, this 26,508, and then this low here would be closer towards that 786, which would be this 25,887. So what I'd be looking for is price to actually come back and potentially retest some of these levels before looking to push to the upside. Now, if we get a 5-wave move to the upside, we could argue that we have the flat in play, which is actually looking at this move in this way, where we actually have this from further back here as an A wave. This is a B, and then we're looking for the C wave. Now, we were talking about this lower range here being at the possibility of a running flat. Now, it is possible that this could be, but the fact is, the reason I don't like looking at it is this is an A, this is a B, this would be a very small C. So I think it's more likely that we're going to see something like this if we are going to see this flat play out, where we actually see this play out as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So our target area for this would actually be this 29,669 to this 28,588. Now this would be as an expanding flat. If we were looking at that running flat potential, still we have this possibility of this 1-to-1, which would actually be here at this 27,939. So if we do see a 5-wave move develop up here, if it's a diagonal, potentially we could see that 1-to-1. If it is something more along the lines of a regular impulse, I would be expecting it to move up into these ranges. Now, we need to be cautious because we also have that bullish idea that we were discussing previously, that if we do get this as a 5-wave move to the upside, this whole move from further back here could actually just be a complete correction, where this is W, X, Y, X, and Z. Talking about that possibility that this could be a complete correction. It is also possible for as long as we actually stay below this zone of this 29,676 to this 27,994, that we could actually still just have this as a bigger A wave, we get a B wave, and then we break down. So really we want to start breaking above some of these key highs, this 29,801, and then actually breaking back above this high point here of this 31k for more confirmation that it's complete. But what this is looking for is actually saying that if I come out onto the 8-hourly here, so what this is looking for is that potential that we have this is a 1-2, this is a 1-2, and then we're looking for that impulsive move to the upside, where we're looking for a third wave to push us up towards this 51,778 area. Now this would be treating this as 1, 2, and then looking for a third wave. We also need to be aware there is a possibility that this could be an A wave, this could be a B wave, and then we see a C wave to the upside as well. So that 1-to-1, if we're looking at it in that way, would actually be this 38,940. Now my primary expectation would be that we would get a 5-wave move to the upside here, and then we would be looking for either this 1-to-1 or this 1618 here, depending on what the structure is. If we're arguing we're in a trend already, this would be our 1-2, this would be a secondary 1-2, and then we'd be looking for this for a confirmation of a bigger move to the upside here. So that's what we want from that bullish standpoint, but there's not quite enough information yet for us to actually say that that is playing out. So what we need to see here is whether this move just completes in a 3-wave move to the upside, in which case, if we do just get a 3-wave move, we need to just be aware that the other way that we could look at this W, X, and a Y is that within the structure here, we have this X wave actually over here, and this has just formed that A wave of that Y wave. So the 1-to-1 would actually be looking to bring us down lower here towards this 23,719. So if we do just see 3-wave structure here, so if we have this as an A wave, we get a move down for a B, and we see a C wave, something like this, potentially coming back up, retesting these channels, and looking to actually reject in this zone of this 27,719 to this 27,776 area. What we could then see is price continue to fall off in a 5-wave move to the downside here, looking for this C wave at this 24,218. So I've taken that off of the 0.618. We've already come up into this level, so it'll be interesting to see how we react here. But we need to just be aware that there is still that bullish case that this price action could actually just move out of this area aggressively. But until we actually see the confirmation within the structure, we need to just be a bit cautious about it. Looking at this entire top area here as a range, what I'm looking out for is the fact that if we did move back up into this top channel line here, what we could see is an interaction again with this point of control, which is sitting at this 28,080 and 68. As well as that, we do have this value area high sitting a little bit higher here towards this 28,651. So that would tie into that idea of actually seeing price move back up here in either this being an ABC if we look to target out this point of control, or alternatively, if we are looking at that bigger 5-wave structure, what we could actually see is a push beyond these points. So we need to just be aware that if we see price develop in this way, we could see price push up into this higher area here above this value area high. Now, if we do see that, what we'd then be looking for is whether this move to the upside as a 5-wave move actually finds support. So we want to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The key difference here between these two counts is if this is A, B, and C, price action is going to come down and actually take out this low. So that would be our confirmation of the flat. Alternatively, as long as we actually hold this low and we only have 3-wave moves to the downside, something like this, what we could then see is price action follow through to the upside. So that's what we would want to see here. Obviously, we don't have a bigger 5-wave move yet. All we have is just this move to the upside. So we need to be aware that that bearish scenario is still a possibility. Now, I'm just going to go over that quickly. So with looking at that bearish possibility, we can argue that as long as we actually remain below this 27,455, we could still have this as a 1, 2. This is another 1. This is a 2. And then we're looking for a bigger third wave to the downside. Now, the third wave target would actually be the 24,076. So if we see price actually just reject down directly in a 5-wave move to this 1.618 area, what I'd be looking for would be that possibility that we could still see this play out with this series of additional 4ths and 5ths, which would actually look to potentially push us down towards this lower area here. So I need to adjust this because the price has actually gone up higher. So that could actually look to push us into the zone of this 23K to this 22,433. So that's what I'll be looking out for until we actually break back above this high of this 27,455 and this high over here around this 28,456. We need to be cautious that we could still face this bigger rejection to the downside. So I'm looking out for this as long as we remain below these highs, but this move to the upside is looking like a 5-wave move. Okay, so yesterday we were talking about these CPR lines and we were saying that we had already met that target of that R2. So we were on the lookout for potential to move back up to either this R1 or to these central lines. Now, the fact that we've moved up into this area could mean that we actually see continuation up. So what I'm looking out for here, same sort of idea, and this would tie into this idea of this ABC of looking to find support around this this 50% area, which would be sitting towards this zone of this 26,351, is that if we see price action come back down here, A, B, and C, and we find support on this R1 line here, which is sitting at this 26,265, we could see price action look to re-challenge these central lines. Now, if we see price reject off of it, it could mean that we're going to see a move down towards this R2 line again at this 25,395, or this R3 line here towards this 24,327. So I would be keeping an eye on these levels. If we do manage to break above this, I would be looking out for this S1 target at this 28,200, this S2 target here at this 29,284, this S3 target at this 30,000 area. These could be potential pivoting points within the market. Now, also, if we have a look at the monthly CPR that we have here, what I would be looking out for would be the potential that we have actually come down to this R1 line, and now we've moved back up to these central CPR lines. Now, we were discussing this yesterday and saying that, you know, if we do see price action continue to push through this level, what we could actually see is we could see a move up towards this S1 line, which is sitting here towards this 29,400. The S2 is towards this 31,628, and the S3 is up here towards this 33K region. Now, if we do see price move up in this way, higher up here, this wouldn't really fit into that flat anymore, and that would make me believe more that what we've had is a completed move here, and price action is starting to form a bigger impulse to the upside. So we'll have to be cautious to see how price reacts around these levels if we are looking at it in this way. If we do actually look to reject and look to push to the downside again, that R2 line is sitting towards this 23.6, and this lower line here of this 21,408 is the R3 line. So be keeping an eye on that. Even if we see price move sideways here, where this becomes A, we get a B, and then we see a C, it's possible that our C wave could actually look to reject off of these CPR lines. So this is why we sort of layer these different things for more confluence. Looking at the Ichimoku cloud here, what we can see is that we've actually broken above it on the hourly. And what I'm looking out for, and the reason why I'm thinking this is particularly interesting, is once again, this Ichimoku cloud is sitting within our target box area. It is also very skinny, so it might mean that price actually just blasts straight through it, so we need to just be aware of that. But we do have this line here, which is going to be interesting towards us, 26,426. We have the baseline, the conversion line, and we have the top of this cloud. Now, if we come here onto the 4 hourly, what we can see is we actually moved up into this cloud and we got rejected. If price can find support here and actually look to break back through, potentially we could start to find support on this line here. So we need to just keep an eye on it. If we do look at this, the conversion line is also towards this 26,400 area. So that's why I'm looking for that potential that we could actually find support here. If we fail to, obviously validation of that possible push to the upside is the low of this move. Now on the 8 hourly, we can see that we came up into this thicker cloud here. So still on the lookout that if this is A, this is B, this is C, what we could actually see is something along the lines of retesting the top of this channel, retesting the top of this cloud here, and possibly even looking to swing fail some of these highs on the left hand side. So that would be looking at the fact that this is just ABC. Now if it is a bigger impulse, obviously we can always look to push through these levels. Now on the daily, we can see here that we are still currently within the cloud. We came down into it, we actually pushed back up, and we are currently below our conversion line, but our baseline is sitting towards the top of this channel as well, towards us 28,200. So I would be keeping an eye on that if we do see price move up there. Now looking at this on the weekly, what we can see is that we do have this cloud sitting up here towards us 31,277. It is quite a big cloud at this point, as well as that we have this baseline sitting towards us 29,263. So this is why I'm thinking, if this is A, E, and then we see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to the upside, this could actually tie in with coming back into either this baseline or potentially the top end of the cloud. Now, if it comes into the top end of the cloud here, it is technically possible, I suppose, but it would be less likely, and I would be more cautious that, potentially at that point we could actually just be looking at this being a wave 1, and then we look for a wave 2, and then so on and so forth. So we're going to have to just keep an eye on it. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It's free to join. Everyone, have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.